just a reminder that if you are going to speak, please turn on your microphone and speak clearly into your microphone so those at home can hear us. Okay, so first thing on the agenda is the roll call. So we'll go down and just say our names, starting with Elmer.
Elmer Veith, Chamblee City Council Rep.
Jeremy Gibbs.
Brittany Harper.
Shan Willoughby.
Kelsey Tenney.
Oh, I don't know. Tanisha?
Tanisha Jones, liaison.
Thank you. Okay, and the next thing on our call to order is we're going to adopt the agenda. So looking over tonight's agenda, if someone could give me a motion to adopt the May 28th agenda.
Motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
Second, great. Any discussion? Nope. We vote, right?
Yeah.
Vote, everybody vote?
All in favor
All
of
in
adopting
favor?
tonight's agenda?
All in favor? Thank you, Brittany. Everybody, unanimous. Excellent. So I am now going to amend the agenda. So I would like to add a short little note on our agenda tonight. So is there any objection to me adding the capturing 2027 project ideas under new business, section A? Is there any objection to that? Do I take a motion or do we vote? You can do it by consent from this body. Oh, okay. So is that like a vote then? Everybody raise their hand?
If you do it by unanimous consent, as long as no one objects, it's
Okay,
it's
got it.
adopted.
Understood. Any objection? Anybody? No? Okay, good. So we're going to add that under section number 5, new business, A, project 2027 ideas. Excellent. Okay, so now we are going to move on to approving the May minutes. Because we did not, I'm sorry, not May. This is May. Approving the March minutes. It's like, what month is that? The March minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the March minutes, which hopefully you glanced over?
Motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Thank you, thank you, Kelsey. And any discussion about the minutes? Everyone in favor of approving those minutes? Great, unanimous. Okay, perfect. All right, now moving on to the liaison report. Up to you, Tanisha.
All right. Am I on? Yeah. Okay, so first up, I wanted to talk about the signage, our current sculpture signage. I cannot remember if I brought this up at a public meeting before, but I know I've discussed it with some of you that the PAC logo has been peeling off of our new sculpture signage. And it's just that, it seems to be just the red color. So I reached out to the company that makes these for us, and they are going to remanufacture and reinstall the plates, and they're going to try it with I want to say a non-matte finish. So right now we have like a brushed finish, and they think that might be interacting with the way the color is trying to adhere. So they're going to come out and do that. I don't have a date for that yet, but I just wanted to let you guys know in case anyone comes to you with that, or if you saw it, because it is happening on a number of the signs.
What part of the sign?
So if you look at the picture, Jeremy, it's like peeling off the red. So it seems to be that specific ink.
Tanisha, all of the signage is like this, or just?
I want to say we have maybe 6 of these signs, and I would say probably like 4 of them are doing it.
Okay.
So I think they're going to replace all.
Okay, because it's going to be assumed that it's going to happen eventually to the others.
Yeah.
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 Okay. And is that being replaced at no cost?
Yeah, as far as I know, this is all on them. They reached
Okay.
out to their, like the ink supplier manufacturer and all, and they're kind of all worked it out.
Right.
About what could possibly be happening.
Okay, great, thank you.
And then the other thing I wanted to bring up is I've been seeing online, I don't know if any of you follow the Free Little Art Gallery websites, but people have been coming up with some really cool curation ideas for these and putting it out to the public. I'm so sorry, I have a frog in my throat. And unfortunately, a lot of the ones that I've seen online, I think they're kind of private, like a private public project. So they're a little bit, they're able to push the artsy side a little bit more than we are. But I do think there's plenty of room for us to come up with some amount of ideas. So I started collecting just a couple ideas that I saw online that I thought would maybe work in Chamblee. Things that are non-political, things that maybe would work well for all ages. And the larger words on the lower right are ones that I had come up with for maybe younger kids that would be a little more simple to understand what the call for art was. But I thought that maybe we could, I don't know if you guys have any ideas or if you've seen anything cool, and we can just kind of put it out on social media. I don't know, it's just an idea.
Are you planning on changing the themes like monthly?
I was thinking that because, that would be easiest, right? Because you would have a holiday, you could come up with something funky if there wasn't a good holiday, or a season.
Yeah.
I think October, December, those are pretty easy as far as a theming goes.
I like having the theme rather than like the material medium challenges. I feel like that can sometimes restrict artists,
Good point. Mm-hmm.
So that's my only thing. But with 4th of July coming up, definitely a red, white, and blue theme would be on par.
Any other comments?
The only other thing I would say is if you do abstract and stuff like that, like the neon dreams, it might be good to have a visual representation of that going into it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could have a printed example up on the interior wall in there.
Remind me, Tanisha, the people are putting things in the gallery, like they're not dropping them off here or wherever?
They put them in
For you
themselves.
to, okay, they're just putting them in?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I went by today and there was probably like 4 to 7 items in there.
yep, yep. I love the idea of curating the art gallery. I'm okay with the mediums. I see what Kelsey's saying, but the idea of little small clay creations and that's kind of interesting to me. But I'm wondering how. So if people just create something and they want to go put it in, but maybe they haven't heard that this is the theme of the month, are we okay with just people being able to just throw some random things in
I
there?
think that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to police it. I wouldn't want you to have to go police it, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could maybe with every theme printout, we could have a little note like
Yeah. This month's
outside of the theme is
yeah.
fine, this is just for fun.
Right, right. Yes, so that would the theme be at the gallery too? You'd have like a little sign?
Yeah,
This
I
one-
think
yeah,
so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Would our new neighbors at Spruill, right next door, be open to maybe helping spread the word about
That's a great idea.
curation themes and
Yeah.
maybe help get more artists to contribute?
Yeah, I think once they have their ribbon cutting, which is coming up, did you all get an email from Squirrel? Okay, good. So please come to that if you can. I meant to put it in the presentation. But I think once they have their ribbon cutting, that they'll be much more kind of around to be involved in the community. Yeah, right now it's still, they're still trying to set up in there.
Right. Okay,
We're also hosting a children's art show in August.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and it's going to be judged and so forth, in different age groups. So maybe there's something we can do to push people to put stuff in a gallery over
To
here.
do tiny stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
I think it's a great idea in general. Tanisha? Yeah. It'll probably evolve over time, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
And maybe we could take suggestions of
Yes, that's right.
themes and things like that.
Yes. So everyone, if you do have some suggestions for themes and so forth, you can share those with Tanisha.
All right, now I'm going to keep going because these two are mine as well. For Chalk Walk, I knew you guys would be interested, but I really don't have an update. We're in the middle of switching over from Eventney to Event Hub. And Brittany in community engagement has been taking all the trainings for that, and then she's going to pass on that information to me so that I can start using it as well. So I haven't been able to set up like the vendor application and that kind of stuff. So that's just my very brief update on Chalk Walk. And then Art Drop, because we missed the April meeting, I did not get to tell you guys the results of Art Drop, so I just wanted to go through that real quick. So Art Drop week was interesting this week. We had some challenges, this year. We had some challenges and we also had some great growth. So I'm going to talk about both of those things. Instagram changed the way their hashtags are used. And and it made it literally impossible to find new hashtags rather than best performing or suggested from other areas. There was no way to filter it. So you could occasionally find a newly posted hashtag, but it was very rare. I think I found maybe 2 the whole week. So we do need to brainstorm for next year. Obviously, we have some time, but we will need to think of a better way to track the drops and the pickups. And people did notice. People reached out to me saying, why isn't anyone dropping? And I was like, I can't find them. Because you would see pictures and there was stuff all over the place, but we couldn't find the posts. So, really unfortunate.
And did the instructions not include a message to actually tag us versus use a hashtag? 'Cause
It
that's-
did, but people so rarely do that.
I think that's going to have to be the answer,
It's gonna have to be that.
unfortunately, because they've
Yeah.
been moving away from hashtags, they meaning Instagram, for quite
And
a
I guess,
while.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so maybe next year we just only use the @
Yeah, no
mention.
hashtag at all.
Yeah, no
Because
hashtag.
they do the collaborative feature now, so it says invite to collaborate, and
Yes.
that automatically goes on your page, so somebody could go on the,
And I did
Right.
see that. I think I saw 2 of those. Someone did that, so
Yeah,
that's
invite
great.
to collaborate. And I've been seeing that a lot. Like at the farmer's market, they're saying that instead of the
Okay.
hashtag and all that.
Well, good to know.
Invite to collaborate,
Yeah.
yep,
Now we know.
yep.
Thankfully, our social media did still do, we did still see like a jump from the, let's say, month before. So I posted some of those here. Not as much as last year, but we still got 826 views. And the 30-day event window, we had 12,000 views, 347 profile visits, which I think is pretty significant because that means that they were going to find our links. So I think that's a good sign. And then our impressions increased by 162% compared to a non-event month. So it wasn't terrible. We just had a really hard time reposting. The art supply swap was new this year, and it was great. Shan and Jeremy came out and volunteered. They were hugely helpful. And we had a great day. The community members who came out were really excited and grateful to have a place to come and speak to other creatives and to pick up materials. And there was a number of people who stuck around for the whole day, just waiting for new supplies to come in. I mean, it was kind of amazing. Yeah, people really, really enjoyed it. So I think we'll absolutely add on an art supply swap to other things. And I've actually had a few interested parties reach out to me, such as the Art Fest that happens here that we don't run. They said that they would be interested in us doing like a tent during their event for art supply swap, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
And the art supply swap was also great because we had a number of in-kind donations from companies and from nonprofits, and as well as community members. So it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a really good day. And I think we learned some things, which of course, oh, here you go.
Yes.
I was about to say, I know we learned some things. I would not have been able to tell you what those were right now, but I'm glad that you have those here. Okay, great. Thanks,
Yes.
Tanisha.
So we learned that our capacity, the people who were coming in exceeded our expectations. We had 3 or 4 skill swap tables set up, and it was not enough. There was lines standing behind the people doing the skills. So it was incredible. I mean, kids, adults, all ages, everybody was there waiting to learn these new things, and it was great. So we definitely need to expand that, do more tables, more chairs, which is easy enough for us to do. And then the operational systems, we just need to figure out what we're doing next year. And then inclusivity, I just noted that, as always, we really need Spanish-speaking volunteers. So if you know anyone who speaks Spanish, we would be so very grateful, because we do have a lot of people who, Spanish is their first and sometimes only language, and it's difficult for our volunteers to get across everything.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to shout out DART for being there.
Yes.
And I think they ran 2 of the tables, Skillshare tables, and one of the women from DART was a Spanish speaker. She's not fluent, but she knows enough. And so she was able to have conversations with some of the people at her table. So that was great. And I think that, we definitely want to acknowledge that they were there to help us out and take part in that.
Yeah, and for the public watching online, that is the Doraville Arts, and they go by DART. And they're fantastic community-driven art programming.
Another idea, because we know that those types of volunteers are probably in high demand, right? And that community can be taken advantage of rather frequently for that particular need. And so we may want to consider building into the budget for the event some dollars to basically pay for their services. Just like you would pay for like ASL translation, we could pay for some Spanish translation, or to have Spanish-speaking artists participate.
I like that idea. We can put that in the budget ideas, Shan.
Yes, we can. I'm writing that note right now.
Any other questions or anything about Art Drop? All right, and under new business, we'll let Wild Aster go first, and then we'll do the budget amendment? Okay. So we've got Wild Aster Books. They put in a mural grant application, and we do have Grace here, who's a co-owner of Wild Aster Books, and they do have a landlord who is Terminus, and as of now, I don't have a owner's affidavit, but I think that's coming in the future. And they do have a concept and an artist. They're asking for $5,000, and then they would presumably match that $5,000. This is the artist, clearly has a lot of talent, so I don't think we'll oppose that. And this is the front of the building, And Grace, can you clarify where you put the red mark, that is where you want the mural? Okay. And so your building is connected to the other building, correct? By like some kind of little way? Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am, would you mind coming up to the
Oh,
microphone?
yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
They're connected, but you can't get to access to the building from one.
Okay. But the whole thing is owned by Terminus?
Yes.
Okay. And so there was a little bit of discussion before the meeting about the concept. And I was saying, you know, in my opinion, the characters and authors from classic literature, I do not think that would land on commercial. Reading books, maybe Lush Forest is great. I think one of our questions was you say Wild Aster books above it. Are you talking about lettering?
Yes.
So I think that's where we get a little squishy because it could end up qualifying as a sign. And your building, when you went through planning and development, you likely already have like the right amount of signs. Possible. So we really need to keep that in mind and make sure with planning and development that if that portion of it does end up being a sign or what have you, that we do it right so that you don't get a code enforcement.
If you could you go back one slide,
Yeah.
Tanisha? Or maybe two
This one?
slides? Maybe two slides, sorry. Two slides, please.
Hold on, sorry, I
Yep,
just
there you
missed
go. Okay, so it looks like there are two things happening here to me. So we have the mural on the lower, like left side
Yes, ma'am.
of the building, and then the Wild Aster Books signage is above the door. So to me, that is not one mural. Those are two different things happening. So if the Wild Aster Books was hand-drawn and painted by the artist, that would be something separate, and that would be a sign.
I think it would probably qualify as a sign.
Okay, so then that would I'm also clarifying for myself too. So that would then fall under the parameters of the planning and development sign regulations.
And I don't see that I think you have one hanging sign, is that correct?
Yes, and it's small.
Yeah, so I think you likely have room to do more signage. That's not our, place to say. But I think there's information online and we can connect you with the right people. So yes, if we take that part of it out and just talk about the mural piece of it, does anyone want to speak to that?
So then that kind of falls under our
Yeah.
jurisdiction. And then what we do is we just, because hopefully I've got this right, because I know we stumble on this a lot, but we then approve of like a concept, but then it ultimately has to go to council for approval. So then it's like, we're approving the concept to approve to go to council, kind of a thing. So,
And then, not to interrupt, but then once council approves, then we ask for a final drawing. So we
Right.
wouldn't ask the artist to do work ahead of time before you know it's going to be approved. So we have the concept, I think we know what the artist, what her work looks like. We have your concept, and then we send it to council.
I should say that we had some issues come to light. That artist was using AI. So we are we're going to change our artist. It's actually going to be our tattoo artist who also did our mural that's inside of our building, and he's fundamentally against AI.
That is a great mural inside your building.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be more cohesive and much better than what we were shown. But it just happened this morning. I was
oh dear.
shown something and I asked them if they were using AI and they danced around it, and now it's a thing, so I'm not
no,
using them at
gosh.
all.
I'm so sorry.
Can I ask the new artist's name?
His name is Dusty Kramer. Dusty Kramer, yeah. Kramer. I think so. I'll have to resubmit it, I'm guessing. So,
Okay, well, that's probably,
Can we, oh, go ahead.
yeah, go, no, you go ahead.
I was just
Eric.
gonna ask, could we talk about the concept?
Yes, please.
So the concept, when I was looking, I got, part of it was cut off. I don't know if it was,
Yeah, you had to kind of click on it and let it scroll over.
So I have the full text
yeah,
here.
can we go over that?
Yeah, so the concept says, characters and authors from classic literature reading books in a lush forest with wild aster books above it. So the wild aster books, you can strike that out because we're saying that's a separate sign. So it's characters and authors from classic literature reading books in a lush forest.
So there was just some discussion before the meeting about if that fell under the parameters of what the mural's supposed to be in order to receive the funding from Chamblee. And it's not supposed to represent like what the actual business is doing. And so books is automatically part of, I mean, it's a bookstore. So having that on the front of the building is actually advertisement. But also, the other thing that I thought about, because I thought about it all day, is, and this is an observation, the proposal was for characters out of books. Well, I mean, you could paint a checkerboard on there and it can be part of a book, because anything's in a book, right? That book's about everything. But I think it really dances around that it's advertisement, because if it's books and it's a bookstore, I mean, the rules say that it can't be part of advertising.
But I will say she says classic literature. I don't know if that helps.
I feel like classic literature is more ingrained in society and it's developed, so I feel like it's a little bit more universal than like Twilight characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's a little bit more
I'm sure it's probably public.
public domain.
Thank you.
I don't think
I was
there's
like, what was that other
copyright
word?
issues.
Yeah, most of those classics are public domain now, so, yeah.
if I could also say too, if you've seen the mural that we have inside our store, it's like, you know, there's a Winnie the Pooh, but it's not quite Winnie the Pooh. And for, as far as like books reading, I mean, we don't have to be reading books, but it would just still kind of, like you said, it go to classic literature that's been more ingrained in our society to just.
Alice in Wonderland, for example, they wouldn't do the Disney style because that piece
Absolutely
is
not,
copyrighted.
yeah.
Right, they would do an artist's interpretation.
So personally, I'm not against it. I don't care. But what I'm saying is, once it goes past us and goes to the next people, like, what are they going to say? Because the rules say that it can't advertise the business. So then I thought about that today, and I'm like, okay, if it was a grocery store, are we going to let them put Count Chocula and Mrs. Butterworth on a mural? Because those are just classic characters at this point, but they represent what the store's doing.
I feel like reading is a little bit like you can go to a cafe and read. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like reading is a little bit more, again, universal kind of activity. You can go to a park and read, you know?
And I understand that. Like, I understand that, but really when it comes down to it, our opinions about how we feel about what's classic and what's not classic doesn't matter if it doesn't fall under the parameters. Like, the parameter to me, and I'm sorry, this is my observation. Really, if it were up to me, I'd be like, yeah, do whatever you want. But it also says that it needs to be usable by the building. If they were to move out and someone else moved into the building, well, if you've got books on the front of it and, a mechanic would move in there. But if somebody moved in there that's like totally had nothing to do with books, would they still want that same mural? I think that's why those rules are put in place. It's like it's got to be something that can be transferable from business to business, because we want it to stay up for a long time. And that's why it has to be easy to maintain. It has to be done in such a way that it stays vibrant for years, because we want it to stay up and not be something that just gets painted over again.
I think too, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I don't want to interrupt you, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you know, it's not like that building's gonna be a restaurant. You know, there's certain zoning requirements and building, you know, regulations that are already in place there. So I feel like the types of businesses that could move in there are already kind of limited, and going back to classical characters, I feel like there's definitely a way to make that a universal template.
I can see classical characters, but I'm just saying like books, you know, because the description says books. And again, it's not, the rules were made for the worst-case scenario, not for us to say, well, possibly another bookstore will move in there, possibly a children's thing can move in there. You know, it's for whatever, huh? Oh, sorry. I thought you were telling me I'm talking to the mic. But it's for the worst-case scenario, that if somebody moved in there that was a totally different business. It's not for us to decide what business is going to move in there. I mean, I'm just talking about what the parameters are. When it comes from us, are they going to review the same parameters to approve it or not?
Yes, they do come at it from a different view, and Elmer might be able to speak to that a little bit.
Well, I was gonna say too, we got burned with the Moondog Brewery.
Yes.
So, I mean, we've already been through this once. So,
Yeah, I kind of want to speak to that a little bit if I can, before you chime in, is that we should think about the precedent that we have set. So before any of us were on this panel, there was the Grapes and Grains mural, which I know Elmer was part of that process. It could probably speak to a little bit more articulately than I can. But my understanding with the history of that is that that went round and round the mulberry bush several times because they wanted to have elements that were representative of their business, and the city told them that that could not happen. And so we see what is on that building now. And then maybe 1 or 2 years ago, I think it maybe also predated some of you guys that are on here right now, but there was Toyotex and their request for a mural, and they wanted some elements that were somewhat related to the type of work that they do in their business, and we nixed that. And we were able to find a happy medium with them for sure, and I think everyone is pleased with what has been produced for them. And then also Moondog, which you guys I think were present for that, and we objected to that because it has elements of signage and representative of what they do, with specifically with elements from their logo even. So that's a little bit more direct relation than what they're proposing here for Wild Aster, but I think it is in that same vein because we did object to that. Mm-hmm. And so I'm in agreement with Jeremy in that maybe the element, the act of reading represents what their business is for, but I think that we could maybe thread the needle with saying, just depicting characters from classic literature in a lush forest can kind of thread that needle. That's
And
my
she has
opinion.
she has to resubmit the proposal anyway. She's already mentioned once at this point that she's okay with the characters not reading. So, I mean, I think we're all in agreement with that.
If I could take on my history teacher role. There's 5 mural projects, including this one, that have been in front of this organization. None of them have been with the same circumstances. Grapes and Grain, that mural was a requirement of their variance and waiver approvals. That was baked into their thing because they needed an additional sign because of the structure of the building. And that the language in that condition of their approval was specific that it could not be related to their business. It took 2.5 years to finalize that mural, and involved a lot of lawyers. After that was actually Justin over at Block and Drum, who came forward of his own volition, of his own budget, and did a mural on his building that has absolutely nothing to do with his business whatsoever. That's a large floral piece. That's going back, I think, about 4 years. Then there was Toyotex, which actually came out of a code enforcement matter because they were effectively painting a giant sign on their building and tried to call it a mural. We found the middle ground on that. The fourth one being Moondog, privately owned property, private investment, And we, for those who don't remember, and I was just reminded this on Friday when I was there for their one-year anniversary event, one of the owners who was an attorney pointed out the free speech issues on that. Where this case in front of us is different than all of those other ones is that city money is involved. And therefore, we do have a say in what the content is. To Jeremy's point, the idea being that this is art for the sake of art, not related to the business itself. That particular property in previous potential iterations was going to be a jazz club, a restaurant, a legal office. It was a place called Translation Station, which was just an office space. So what that building could be in the future is nearly limitless. So that's where the challenge comes in. If you're going to have something that's themed around classic storylines of literature, does that necessarily work for a Ukrainian restaurant, which is actually what was being proposed across, which is actually what was approved, I think, just down the street from there, in a former house. So this is the challenge with all of this. But the biggest differentiator here is that this is part of the murals program. Now, if, and I'm going to say this and regret it, the tenant had an agreement with their landlord, and they were paying for it completely out of their own pocket, we would have very little say over it, unless it is obscene or indecent. And that becomes a code enforcement issue, not necessarily a Public Arts Commission question. So that's the history of art on private buildings in Chamblee.
Where do we go from here?
So I think at this point, our applicant would like to take a step back because of possibly putting a new artist on. We'll get those visuals and relook at that. And I think maybe from us, our ask is that the concept be a little more broad and maybe just think of, I love the lush forest. Classics, lush forest, maybe something in there. And I have seen the mural inside. I think it's great. And then we would also need that landlord affidavit, and then you would not have to come and stand here again. You could if you wanted to, but it would be in a month.
And if that material was, the new concept was ready before this meeting next month, it could definitely be shared with us via email, and we could provide
Yeah.
feedback via email.
Yes.
If we did find any further, recommendations that, so that it could be ready for approval by the time we meet again next month.
Right, perfect. Yeah. Okay.
And then just let me know if you need any help with the sign portion of it, if you need some contacts or anything.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I'm excited about it. Thank you.
All right, so this slide was basically a motion to approve that grant application, so we're just going to not do that? I don't think so. Yeah. Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm not on. Okay.
Here, let me get back to the,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
there we go.
Okay. So, I'm trying to think of who's new. The only really new person I think might be Jeremy. But what we like to do about this time of year is we want to capture some project ideas for the next year as we prepare the budget. And we've done that in several ways in the past. And we used to, and I was thinking, Tanisha, we actually still have a lot of good ideas that are on our spreadsheet.
Absolutely.
But what we'd like to do is in the next, probably in the next day, I'll probably send it to you, Tanisha, to send out and make it a little more formal that way. But we will send out a Microsoft Forms link for you to go and put in your top 3 project ideas for 2027. You don't have to have 3. If you have more than 3, that's fine too. You just have to send an email. And then send that in, and we will collect those responses. And then the next step would be for us to put that in a different kind of a survey in which we will then prioritize those projects. And then that will be given to Tanisha, and Tanisha will use those to kind of craft what might be possible for our projects for 2027 and put dollar amounts to that, because we won't really know the dollar. You would know the dollar amounts better than us. And then basically make it easier for her to be able to capture those ideas and the things that we want to do for 2027. And then the other thing I was thinking, Tanisha, is because we have some good ideas from the past, like if you know of any, or if any of us remember some things that were part of that, that you want to pepper in there,
Okay.
I think that that's also totally fine to do. So, so just look for an email from Tanisha in the next week or so. And, we'll give you a month or so to mull through things. And we do ask for things like a map link, like a Google Maps link or something like that, that we can get a really good idea of where this location is for whatever that looks like, whatever that art piece looks like for you. It could be sculpture, it could be a mural, it could be whatever your imagination dreams up. So, so we'll start capturing those ideas and try to create a really fun list of projects for us for 2027. I also have a frog in my throat. All right. Thank you.
Do we anticipate the 2027 budget being the same as this year?
I do.
Perfect. Sorry, I've been looking at you, you're looking at me. Is there any public comment for us this evening? No, we heard from Grace already. Thank you, Grace.
I had, before we adjourned, if I could ask a couple of questions, and I apologize if this is not the best time to do it, but I wanted to know, did we have any, a status update or movement on some of the other projects that have been on our plate for 2026? Because we're already it's the end of May, so we're looking at June, and we know that our last meeting is in November, so we have 5 months to accomplish quite a lot on our budget. And so I just would love to know if there's any status on some of the major projects like the master plan or any of the other items. And I know that there was a hold due to some mid-year budget things that needed to happen citywide. So just want to know if there's any kind of updates that can be provided by either our liaison or our
Yeah, so the big update is that the master plan is on its way. We had a kickoff meeting this week, actually, and it went fantastically. And I have started filling out the information that they need from us to get started, like stakeholder lists and who I think would be good in, group survey settings and things like that. So it was a really great meeting. They're very excited to do this with us again. We've made so much progress since the last one, and they said that that's really rare. So I think they're very excited for us and to come back to Chamblee and see what we've done, because they're actually located in Ohio. So they're gonna be able to see firsthand what we've accomplished since the last time they were here.
Will they be having meetings with this group?
Yes, yes. So there'll be both one-on-one meetings with some folks, and then I believe they're going to try to attend one of our meetings and have a focus group afterwards. And then they'll have community focus groups as well and other things like that. So that is moving, and we have a timeline for that. And we will start, I believe they said our first invoice will be in July. So I think June is our first official build month. And
Do
we get
they-
that in July.
So we're billed in installments?
Correct.
And then, is that like 4 installments, or?
I think it was 4 or 5, 5.
Okay. So will it go into 2027, you think? It could?
It's possible, but I don't think so.
Okay.
They were originally trying to get everything done by October,
Oh, okay.
because they knew that that's our budget season.
Right.
And that maybe we would want to plan ahead with this plan.
Yes.
I did kind of loosen the reins on that a little bit, because what I said was, likely everything that we want to get done in the Arts Master Plan is not going to be budgeted for in that first year anyway. So
right.
I loosened that a little bit and said,
Yeah.
I don't think we need to be finished by October.
Okay. And wouldn't it be nice if some of the projects that we'd like to do kind of fit within that plan too? So
Yeah,
that'd be
absolutely.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Are you able to share the, like, timeline and?
I
what
could.
What is the plan for creating the plan?
Yeah. I can send you guys I don't remember what it's called, some kind of work plan kind of thing.
Yes, please email that out to us. That'd be awesome.
And also, if any of you have a specific person that you think should be considered a stakeholder, whether that's a business owner or just someone in the community that's really big in the arts that maybe I haven't thought of, that would be helpful.
Can you share that list you've already generated with us, and
I
that
can.
will help us? Okay, great.
Was there any other projects that you were thinking of?
That was the main one that I had in my head, but I know there's probably others that we haven't made much movement on.
Yeah, so we have our maintenance budget. I've had him just kind of holding back. I let him know that it would be a few extra months, and he was fine with that. But we will have a meeting and basically do the other half of our collection, cleaning it this year.
Right.
So it'll be the same thing that we did last year, just the other half.
Right. And then the Gateway mural, that's still kind of pending?
That is still pending,
Okay.
yes.
What is it pending?
It was, I can't remember,
I
Tanisha.
think once I get permission to continue working on that project, I'll move as quickly as I can. But it will be possibly difficult because it's also with MARTA. But they have expressed a lot of
Okay.
interest in moving forward with that as well. So
let me know
really, I think the
how I
holdup
can-
is on our end.
Let me know how I can help facilitate any meetings or
Yeah.
approval processes at MARTA.
Absolutely.
And, yes, that was like 25,000, I think, of our budget, if I'm
Something like
looking at
that,
that
yeah.
correctly. Okay, and then the CIFA sponsorship, when was that supposed to happen?
So that's actually gotten, not money-wise, but project-wise has grown a little bit. It now includes our community engagement folks. They're, I believe, trying to set up something with community engagement to set up like a tent at one of the concerts so that they can get community interest and things like that going. It's, the way that I understand it is that they're going to not ask us for funds until the project is over.
Oh,
They're
okay.
basically going to do
Yeah. Okay,
post-funding on that.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? It's okay.
Okay, so if there is no further discussions, I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on adjourning? No. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And it's unanimous. Thank you. The next meeting is June 25th, right there on the screen.